We're live. Hello and welcome to a snowy November Tuesday. Apparently Hamilton County didn't get the memo and fall didn't really stick around other than we have like red and orange trees, but then we have snow, which is really weird because that's kind of new for us. Normally, it's funny. I kind of think about November as definitely fall, cold, rainy, but we got snow and it actually is sticking. So that's crazy. If you're new here, I'm Cameron Geesaman, your local real estate expert, community connector, and your HamCo hype girl. And we've got a lot to talk about this week. From a fast growing gaming company that is leveling it up in Fishers to the return of holiday festivals. Very excited about that one. To one of the safest places to live getting national attention, plus Westfield's big road reopening and a brand new 55 and over community that got approval in Noblesville. So grab your warm drink, coffee, tea. I have tea. I'm going to take a drink. Grab your blanket. I grabbed I think I told Adam earlier that I feel like I'm, I can't think of the guy, Mr. Rogers. I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers because this normally hangs on the back of my chair, but because it's snowing outside, I have my Mr. Rogers cardigan on. It's not really a cardigan, but so grab your warm blanket and let's dive into what's happening here around Hamilton County. Okay. So first up, let's talk about the fast growing gaming company that is coming to a Fishers location. My kids are gaming kids. So whenever I see that, right, I'm always curious, what does that mean? Because gaming can mean so many different things. It can mean board games. It can be like gaming, like PlayStation, Xbox. It could be computer games, right? There's a lot of people who play online computer games. My brother-in-law is a big D&D fan. That can be considered gaming, right? And so this is not any of those things. Actually, this is a Canadian-based gaming and entertainment company that has drawn attention for its interactive rooms where players work cooperatively or compete against each other. Plans to open its first location in Indiana next month along East 96th Street in Fishers. Activate Games plans to occupy the 12,000 square foot of the formal Party City store, which funny enough, didn't even know Party City closed. That was actually probably one of the locations that I went to the most. See, I told you I'm Mr. Rogers, but now I'm going to take Mr. Rogers off. Now I'm just Cameron Geesaman. Okay. I did not realize that they closed. So apparently they closed. Party City stores closed nationwide. So poor Party City. It's funny because I used to always go to Party City after like Halloween or Christmas or Thanksgiving because they always had really great sales. That might be why they closed, because they sold all their stuff up. Activate is where you take control of the game through a one-of-a-kind combination of physical and mental challenges. Activate co-owner Jason Thompson said in written remarks, "It's always exciting to bring this new way to play to new locations, especially when it's the first one in the state. We're confident that the Fishers community will embrace Activate." So it was founded in 2017 by Adam and Megan Schmidt, refers to itself as the world's first active gaming company and blends physical activity with advanced technology by creating real-time, digitally responsive game rooms. Activate has not announced a grand opening date for its Fishers location, but a spokesperson said it will open sometime next month. Activate in Fishers will employ about 25 people. That's amazing. Looking at these videos or these images of you can tell this is AI, but it looks really awesome. I feel like it's a great, especially as we're heading into, right, it snowed this last weekend. We're heading into kind of that colder, dreary time of living in the Midwest. And so this is a great activity to kind of go out to and do in when it's snowing or raining and cold and you don't want to go outside, but you want to go do something. This is one of the reasons why I love Hamilton County so much and or living in the Midwest, is because there's companies like this that are coming to the area that are kind of branching out. We have things like Top Golf, right? So activity styled locations are really great. So currently there are 38 Activate locations open in the United States, with 12 more in the works, including Fishers, according to the company's website. The nearest locations are in Louisville, Cincinnati, and Chicago. So it's funny. Louisville, Cincinnati, and Chicago. It's like they're all around us. And this happens a lot, you guys. It's funny because I always say in many of our videos, if you're new here, this is the first time you're hearing it, but I say all the time that Indiana is always behind. And so they say that's a Midwest thing, but honestly, it's funny because every city or cities around us tend to get things even before we do, which is so sad because I think Indiana is such a great location. I think, you know, the term we're the flyover state is very true, but we are getting a lot of buzz. You're going to see that in some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today. Things like this, Hamilton County, and I talk about this a lot on our channel in general. Hamilton County is a diamond in the rough when it comes to the amount of stuff that is in one condensed area where you can drive. Yes, this is Fishers, but if you live in Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, Lawrence, McCoursville, Fortville, it's like probably a 15 to 20 minute drive, which is so close. So super excited about this. I definitely am going to plan a trip with our boys so that they can just destroy Adam and I and beat us and feel really, really great about being there. So I just got a notification from our thing. Are you still there? I'm still here. Are you the only one here? You'll be redirected to the homepage in less than 2 minutes. Stay in the studio. I am still here, StreamYard. That was weird. Okay. So apparently when I'm the only one, it says scheduled. It says it's showtime. Go live. Do you have me live on yours? I'm going to go live again. Okay, now I'm back. I don't know where it dropped off. But I'm back. That was really weird. Thanks, StreamYard. It apparently thought that I was all by myself. Oh, so weird. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to take the kids. I think it's going to be a blast. I think that it is definitely an opportunity for them to prove that they're faster, smarter, quicker, and more talented than their mother. And I'm okay with that. I think they think it's more funny, but I've come to the realization that my body just doesn't move the way it used to. But I'm game. I'll go and play. So, okay. Next topic is the holiday festivals. So some other free things and or things to do. Not all are always free, but here's 18 free holiday festivals in Indianapolis. It is one of the reasons, again, why I like Hamilton County, is because there's so much to do. This is a great website, by the way, Indy's Child. It is focused around children, but if you don't have kids or you have friends that are visiting and they have kids, honestly, these aren't just technically kid festivals, but I love Indy's Child because they always do a great job of kind of giving all of the activities that are going on. So Christmas in Pendleton, this is actually a really great one. It's a really small town, just kind of northeast of Indy. I've heard that this is a great event. There's reindeer that visits, kids can take train rides, and there's more than 100 vendors tucked along decorated streets. The parade and evening tree lighting are community favorites, with plenty of photo stops in between as Christmas in Pendleton opens the season. So that is already over. You guys, I didn't mean to mention that one. I just kept reading, but that one's already over. Okay, let's keep going. Holidays in Carmel kicks off November 22nd. You can still go to that one. Oh my gosh, it's all day. Morning to night downtown, hums with Santa and reindeer meetups, street entertainment, a storefront sparkle. Families can pop in and out of activities. That was really great. Chris Kindle Market, one of my absolute favorite activities. We were wondering, Carmel's been having a lot of issues with Chris Kindle Market with budgeting and funding. And so I was curious what was going to happen to Chris Kindle Market all year. I've been seeing all these news releases, and I don't talk a lot about them on here because not that you need to really know about it. If it closed down or it wasn't happening, then of course I would talk about it. But they're still putting it on. So we're going to see how it is. But that's November 22nd to December 24th. Lantern lit huts, live music, irresistible smells from the food stands. Set a European market mood. Admission, of course, is free. So you can browse and listen as long as you like, while the Chris Kindle Market anchors the heart of Carter Green. Here's the thing with Chris Kindle Market. It is actually one of the most renowned German fests. And so there's people all across the United States that come and visit. It feels honestly like you're in another land, right? Once you get in there, the different shops, the food, there's an ice skating rink that is not free. You do have to pay for the ice skating. But it's just the nostalgia of it. And if you have friends that are visiting over the holidays, I highly recommend you take them to this. This is a great way to kind of show friends and family that aren't from Indiana how awesome our little HamCo is. It's really great. Circle of Lights. This is a big one for Indianapolis. This is downtown on Monument Circle. Thousands of people go, and it's they've got all the buildings around are lit up, and all at one point in time they light up the tree that you can see here. You kind of have to experience it. It's one of those like awe moments. I'm sure that they kind of feel the same way in New York when they light up their tree, right? Theirs is real. Ours is just lights and fake, but it still has that same like nostalgia feel. I have friends that literally go every single year. It is a tradition for them. And I love a lot of these things that, even this that we're talking about right now, all of these are, new or old things that you can do that you can make a tradition. Okay. I'm going to go through some other ones that are my favorite. You can go to the website to kind of determine which ones you like. Christmas in the Village, which is a parade and tree lighting. That's in downtown Zionsville. That's another really popular one. Again, these other ones are also popular that you could go to, but each little town has stuff. I'm trying to see if... Oh, the Broad Ripple Lights Up Holiday Festival. Again, there's all the different festivals. So Chris Kindle Market's probably the biggest, and then the Indianapolis one is great. You can kind of go through if you're close to any of these locations, then you can go, right? Because they're all over. It just depends on what you feel is your favorite. And sorry, I totally led you to believe that you could still go to Pendleton. No, Pendleton goes early. For some reason, I thought that was later, but they hit Halloween and went right into Christmas. So some of the others you have to wait until after Thanksgiving. So fun times, fun festivals to go to. Check them out. See if there's any that you like. There's also some others that aren't on here that you can look up as well. Okay. So next up, I'm going to skip that because I wanted to go to... Was it that one? Yes. Okay. So safest places to live in Indiana. So we have the festivals, we have the gaming stuff that's going on. And typically when you have all these activities and things for people to go and do, it garners being in one of the safest areas. And so crime rates can be one of the deciding factors of where families settle down based on the city's murder and property crime rates per 100,000 people determined by FBI crime reports. These are the safest places to live in the United States among the 859 cities analyzed in this year's rankings. For more information, which we'll go to that on what their methodology is. But we got ranked number 6. So Fishers, Indiana has a population they're indicating of 105,031 people, average commute 24 minutes, median price 406, which we'll get to that because I always talk about stats. If you are kind of a data person, I'm a data nerd. Stay closer to the end because I'll go through all the data and everything. Median monthly rent, this has actually been going down, which is great. So it's 1404, and then a median household income is 134. I actually think that's a little low. I will say, so it depends on what that looks like. And then Carmel got number 7. So 2 cities in Hamilton County were ranked in the safest places to live. You can kind of see, I wish I could remove that section. Can I? Nope. Okay. You can kind of see the difference. Carmel's values higher, commutes about the same, rent is pretty close, and then median price is a little bit higher in Carmel. 7 overall score, 6.9 overall score. And it can kind of show you what the differences is. But I wanted to show you what their methodology is, because I think that really plays into it. So they rank, so the new U.S. News and World Report Best Places to Live rankings help readers make the most informed decision when choosing whether to settle down. Cities in the rankings are evaluated using data from Applied Geographic Solutions, or AGS, and U.S. News own internal resources. AGS develops its core database and specialized indexes from both private and government sources, including the U.S. Census Bureau, Department of Commerce, and Federal Reserve, and the Bureau for Economic Analysis, as well as the state and local sources. The data was categorized into 5 indexes listed below and evaluated using methodology determined by Americans' preferences. The percent weighing for each index follows the answers from a February 2025 public survey in which people from across the country voted on what they believed was the most important factor to consider when choosing where to live. So quality of life index is 26%. So they're going to give 26% of the vote to the quality of index, which kind of goes into quality of education, quality of availability of healthcare, air quality. Our air quality isn't great. Environmental risks, state economy, and state infrastructure. So I'm assuming because we got 6 and 7, 6, 7. Okay. All of my teenagers will roll their eyes. I don't know if teenagers watch me. Anyways, they're not buying houses. I don't think Indiana, I saw Fishers, and there we go. Noblesville's number 24. I didn't go further. I saw 6, 7 and didn't go any further down into the list to see who else was on there, but Noblesville got 24. And then let's see. Yeah. So of 25, 3 in Hamilton County got safest places to live. I don't know of any other real places where you're going to have 3 cities. I don't know how close Palatine and Naperville. We compete with Naperville a lot. They're just way more expensive than ours. You can kind of see that theirs is showing as $497, which honestly is compared to Fishers, it's 90,000, and compared to Carmel, it's about 50,000 more. Again, Buffalo, Grove, Illinois. I will say it's interesting because Illinois is on here quite a bit, but I will tell you taxes in Illinois are considerably higher. So that's the only thing that I think when we get people who are calling or considering the Indianapolis or surrounding areas, they find that we're just way cheaper when it comes to overall costs and taxes. So let's go back to this. Then they value index is 25%. So housing affordability, cost of living index. So that probably plays into definitely the aspect of Hamilton County, because we, for the most part, nationally are affordable. Desirability index is 25%. So crime rates, weather, temperamentness, it's a long ass word. cultural leisure index and commuter index. Commuter, I will say, is huge because the commute, at least here in Hamilton County, we have straight roads. We don't have hills or lakes to go around. So that helps. Weather, I would say that ultimately right now it's not the best because it snowed way too early. Job index, so unemployment rate, meaning household income, net migration. We're going to talk about migration here a little bit as well. And then how did they do the math? So they kind of calculate everything out. So it was really interesting. If you, of course, want to know more, we'll link this article. But I found it very interesting because, again, for us to have 3 cities within the top 25 of the let's just call it 900 cities that they looked at, right? That's crazy. That is a lot of houses or a lot of houses, a lot of areas to really consider and look at. And we 3 are in one county. So anyways, found that very interesting. And I do think, people ask us, are you a safe area, right? I try to answer that the best way that I can because it all is a variable dependent on what you've come from, right? There are parts of downtown Indianapolis that some people would think are not safe at all, and others would be like, this is so safe compared to what potentially they are coming from. So anyways, thought that was really great information. Okay, now we kind of move on to the not data, but the what we kind of did the fun stuff at the beginning, and now we're going to do some of the real estate based stuff. So Noblesville Common Council approved residential development. So the Noblesville Council approved a 55 and older residential development on court at Linden Walk as of November 4th meeting. The development, which will be on 99 acres at the southeast intersection of Prairie Baptist Road and 156th Street, was first introduced to the council September 9th. It received a unanimous favorable recommendation October 27th from the Noblesville Plan Commission. So you can kind of see where this is located. This is Prairie Baptist, and it's, a large area. It's kind of nice to see some woods. Hopefully they'll keep those woods and just put houses around it so that we're not tearing down the trees. On Court Linden Walk, which will have 210 lots, will be the first of David Weekley Encore 55 and older neighborhoods in Indiana. It will have a centralized amenity area with a clubhouse, green space, and outdoor amenities like a swimming pool, sports courts, and trails. The HOA will provide maintenance of landscaping, lawns, common areas, and open spaces. And then it'll include 25 different home elevations for buyers to select from, and all homes will be ranches. It will also feature 2 lot size options, different home elevations, and lot sizes will be intermixed throughout the community. Home square footage will range from 1,800 to 3,000 square feet, and prices will range from the mid 400s to mid 500s. The land is in Wayne Township and zoned agricultural subdivision through Hamilton County. With the city of Noblesville having zoning jurisdiction. With the approval, the land is being annexed into the city of Noblesville because it is contiguous to the Gatewood development that was annexed by the city earlier this year. So here's what I love about this. Ultimately, everybody knows that the baby boomers is a big group of a generation, right? And so all those baby boomers are getting to the point where they've been empty nesters for a long time and they're wanting to downsize and they're not wanting to take care of their yards and their land. My parents that's exactly who my parents are. Last year, they had a 2-story with a basement. My mom had fallen multiple times and it was just becoming too difficult for them. So they wanted to move to a location. Funny enough, they did not move to a 55 and over community. I think 55 and over communities sound amazing because at least the ones that we currently have in the area are really developed, and there's groups and clubs and everybody gets together and you kind of find your people within the neighborhoods, and it keeps you kind of active. And so we need more of these because we really don't have that many. And so ranches tend to go fairly quickly, even within communities, as long as they're, maintained well and priced right. Ultimately that's a big part of it. But I think that having something like this, I also love David Weekley. We've actually done some home tours. I'm excited to potentially show these. I have a lot of clients where it's their parents that are moving to these properties, right? Or it's someone like me that in, 10 years doesn't want to have to maintain all of the house, right? And just wants something that is easier to maintain and is around a bunch of other ranches. So anyways, you know how much I love ranches. I'm secretively very lazy and don't like stairs. So once our kids are gone, I'm moving to a ranch. I've always loved ranches, even when I was young. So it's not really even that I don't like stairs. I just like ranches. I love the space that they provide and everything. So this is a great I think this is a great addition, great location as well, because you're going to be close to shopping and dining. You don't have to go very far. This is maybe a 5 minute to 8 minute drive to get to almost everything, because Hamilton Town Center is right around the corner. So you've got BJ's for like grocery shopping. There's projected to be a Target. There is the outdoor mall. You've got tons of dining, fast food, fast casual, and then even sit down dining. And so you're close to everything. And you're pretty close to even jumping on 69 to be able to, if you need to go north, if you have family in Michigan, or if you want to go south to head to Indianapolis. From here to downtown Indianapolis is probably going to be a 25 to 30 minute drive. So I am for this. I think this is really great. And I think it's just, we need more of these. Honestly, some people are going to complain that we're building too much and we're taking over all of the land. It's just going to happen. And some of the older homes are on, at least the ranch homes are on more land, and a lot of people don't want to maintain that land. So okay, I squeezed this in. I know I didn't kind of talk about it, but I always love a good story about a family who is taking a property and just kind of breathing life back into it. And so I just wanted to share this fun little story about a Carmel family that's restoring a pre-Civil War home once marked for destruction. So in a city where so much is new, Matt and Aaron Uber transport themselves into the past by walking down a hill, through the woods, and across a stream to their backyard. That's where they are restoring Carmel's second oldest home, the Wilkinson Hull House, built in 1834 as a log cabin and expanded in 1853 with a brick 2-story Greek Revival style addition on the northeast corner of the modern day intersection of Keystone Parkway and East 136th Street. So this is a really interesting story. So they purchased the house and about 2 acres of surrounding property in September of 24 for about $50,000 from the Indiana Landmarks. The Indianapolis-based nonprofit that helps to preserve historical buildings and central landmarks received the house the year before as a donation from Ohio-based home builder Epcon Communities. Epcon is developing the courtyards and Carmel resident community on 59 acres of land north and east of the house. Those 59 acres plus the Wilkinson Hull home property were inherited by a family member of the house's previous owners. Over the past year, Matt Uber has dedicated himself to the basics, clearing debris inside and outside the house, repairing and replacing windows, repointing brick masonry, rebuilding a fireplace, replacing white siding placed over the cabin's logs in a long ago renovation, and preparing the house to be livable after a decade of vacancy. So this winter, they're going to be adding some stuff. And he goes on to say he considers the process of learning about 19th century building material as one of the most fascinating aspects of the project. Bricks were likely created from clay, dug from the home site, while nails would have been crafted by a local blacksmith. An exposed beam in the log cabin has a marking of the Wilkinson Lumber Co. So it goes on and talks about all sorts of stuff and gives kind of like preserving history and what that looks like. And then it was a property that was down from their original home. And it's just a fun story. And I loved the picture. So I kind of wanted to show you that. One of my favorite coffee shops is Schoolhouse 7. It's one of the older houses that was also in Fishers, and it's kind of nostalgic and has that same feel of what Schoolhouse 7 did, which is they kind of took the current building, restored it, and you have, the brick and the foundation is there, but then to kind of bring it back to life, they even mentioned here in the picture that they had to have a structural engineer inspect, assure him that the house is strong, given the way they built this. There's nothing more sound, and that's why it's survived nearly 200 years. Here's the thing, you guys, our houses are not built like this anymore. And so it's so neat to kind of see something like this come back to life. And I love when local people decide to still keep that history and bring it back, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a cheap endeavor. Doing something like this is honestly very expensive and takes a lot of time and tweaking and making sure that you're still keeping the integrity of the building. So I'm going to keep track of this just because I want to kind of see how it transpires and see how it comes to fruition and everything. So you can kind of go and look at this article if you want through the IBJ. But that's just kind of like I love good-hearted stories like this. So I wanted to share it with you because I just thought it was really cool. Okay. Moving on to the second half of our kind of show, so to speak. I kind of block it off into two sections. Again, if you're new here, the first part is kind of like what's coming, what's happening. The second part is kind of data and showing you houses, which I think if anybody's considering moving, the data is actually what I think is more important than all the fluff and the fancy stuff, but not everybody wants to listen to data. So I get it. Big news on the Westfield front. 32 has reopened through downtown Westfield. Hallelujah. All of my Westfield fans and friends and family that live in Westfield, I'm sure are so excited because now you don't have to have all these detours. I do a Google Maps tour. So if you're coming to visit, I do a Google Maps tour customized specifically to you to kind of take you to a bunch of different places. And I love taking people to Westfield, but man, the last 6 months have been tough when I've sent tours, because I've had to kind of tell them like, okay, you're going to go here, but then you're going to have to go around here and it's going to be annoying, but just know that Westfield's going to be amazing. So months of detours and barricades have come to an end in Westfield. The city of Westfield will help with help from downtown business owners, officially reopened Indiana 32 through downtown October 28th. The road between the Poplar Street roundabout and the Union Street closed in April as the city and INDOT began the reconstruction project of the main thoroughfare through downtown. It goes on to say that they had, homeowners and business owners come, and it was kind of a celebration because this is really big. They've been really working at widening the street, having it be more accessible and keep the flow going. If you are from here, you would know that it literally was one stop and it was one-way traffic both ways. And it just, when it got busy, it was awful. Plus they've also done the Grand Junction. And so that's a place where everybody can go, and it's kind of like the downtown Westfield now. So identifying kind of that area as the downtown Westfield, because Westfield, unfortunately, until now, really didn't have a designated downtown like, say, Carmel and Fishers and Noblesville had, Noblesville being the oldest. That now it's got a designated area. There's grass and playgrounds, and during the wintertime, there's a ice skating rink, and there's now a lot of the shops, the restaurants and shopping are going to, be open, and you can experience those. So it's really exciting. It's just one of those where you're like, finally, yay. So I saw that it's been open for a little bit. So some of you have already probably been driving on the streets, but it was definitely touch and go there all summer trying to get around there. So exciting there. I want to kind of transition to, we talked about that 55 and older community, right? And downsizing, what they're finding, there's just a huge rush of people that are wanting to downsize. And that's where that 55 and older community comes into play. Well, Storage Cafe just put out a survey and or results on how much you could save by downsizing your home. There are a lot of people, and I even talk with a lot of clients that are hesitant to downsize, partially because interest rates or how much equity they have in their home, or not knowing if it's going to be a benefit for them. And so downsizing from a 4-bedroom to a 2-bedroom home frees up an average of $200,000 in net gains, the equivalent of about 55% of the cost of a typical US home. 13 of the top 20 cities for downsizing gains are in the South, where rising property values make trading down especially rewarding. It talks about California and Texas and all of that. And although if you want to know that information, you can go to this page, but I wanted to show you Indianapolis. So on this document, downsizing gains, they are showing Fort Wayne, but I wanted to kind of show you, they've got this really great diagram that can kind of show you if your origin city is Indianapolis and you're moving to. So we're going to start there. So if you're downsizing from Indianapolis to Detroit, Toledo, Cleveland, or Memphis, you're getting a huge difference, right? Downsizing gains of 278,000 to 278% down to 144%. And it kind of shows you, like, if you are wanting to move to Michigan, which my mother-in-law would absolutely love, you would gain 224,000 because the home value destination city is 80,000. 4-bedroom would be 316, 2-bedroom home value, which I think that's a little bit of stretch. I'm not sure I would want to live in a $66,000 house. But the tax savings, you can kind of see 1,800 a year, and then closing costs. So it kind of shows you, but if I go up here, let me actually, if I want to do origin, the destination. So we're going to flip this. I'm sorry I didn't have this set up, but I want to flip this. We're going to turn this off. And we're going to turn this off. Oh. I don't know if I can. Okay. Oh, I can't click all. You guys, I thought I could click all. Anyways, so some of the cities that a lot of people will move from. So we'll do that. Let's do Illinois. So like Illinois to Indianapolis, there's a gain you can see of 110. If you do California, that's another one that we get a lot of people from. So look at this. There's a good example. So if I switch this, you can see here, if you're moving from Irvine, California, and you're moving to Indianapolis, is 778. Now here, we're getting a lot of people coming from California. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this is, I mean, if you're moving from pretty much anywhere in California and you move to Indiana, you're saving upwards of anywhere from 2 million all the way down to, to $464,000. So this was really interesting. You can play around with it because there's some other places. Florida is one that, funny enough, we do actually get quite a few people from. So if you're moving from Miami, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, it's actually less. So you wouldn't actually see some benefits there, but anywhere from 249% to 127%. So you can see Indiana is, for the most part, really affordable, right? And so that's where it's one of those things where you can see some huge advantages by downsizing. And so for those that are considering it, if you have family here, you can see that it's a great advantage to be able to move. So let's kind of move into the data aspect of things, because I like to always show you from month to month where the market is moving, because there's a lot of misinformation. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say misinformation. There's a lot of information out there that is on the news or that you'll see on your social media that is talking about how the market is, how things are moving. And those mostly are done by national numbers. They're not local numbers. And so I think that it's good to know what local numbers look like. So if we start here with just Hamilton or Indiana, I need to go here. Indianapolis and all the surrounding areas, right? So that's a big area. Everything that is on that map behind me is included. So you've got 308,000 for the median price, which is actually up 0.3%. But let's be honest, 0.3%. I consider that it's leveling out, right? And you can kind of see that here by the last 3 months, because that was September and October, and then even August, isn't too far off. Closed sales is up 2.9% at 2,972. Average days on market, 24, which up is actually a negative. But it means that the market is slowing down. And then we're hitting that 2.5 month monthly supply. So that's something to keep in mind. This always happens in the wintertime. This isn't new news. This isn't something where this is surprising. It always slows down during the winter months, partially because people don't really want to move when it's snowing outside. I actually think it's one of the best times to move. In my personal opinion, I think you get a seller that is a little bit more motivated. And from a seller's perspective, you usually have a buyer that's more motivated because they have to move versus want to move. And so I don't hesitate listing during those times, because I think that if you can grab the right buyer, it's a phenomenal time. And there's a lot of intricacies to that if you have questions, if you have questions about what that looks like and some of those advantages that it is, and it's on a house by house basis. I had a conversation with a client the other day. I pretty much told her it's not a good time because for her house, it's not great. She has a pool, she has land. Not that it's not a bad time to list, but with what she has and having the pool be locked down and all that, it's not ideal, and she doesn't have to move right now. So from that aspect, I told her, actually, let's wait. So if you have questions, let me know. Let's go through your specific situation so that I can kind of guide you accordingly. So that's Hamilton County, or all of Indianapolis. I also then always like to look at Hamilton County. This channel is mostly about Hamilton County, even though I sell in all the other areas, north, south, east, west. We sell in all everything that's behind me, we sell in, right? So it's not that we don't sell in those areas. It's just Hamilton County is such a prolific area. And like I've said so many times, the diamonds in the rough, that's what we focus on a lot in this channel so that you can kind of have an idea. So Hamilton County, our median sales price is now dropping. So it's $447, which is down 3.8%. Sales are up, which is good. So that's 606. Median days on market, again, it's increasing. Typically, if you remember, Indianapolis was at 24. We're at 23. We're not that far, which normally there's a bigger gap. So we were sitting at like 17, 18. Yep, 18, 17 the last few months. And then all of a sudden this last month, we jumped to 23. Again, not abnormal, but that's why you're starting to see, agents I'm talking to either for my buyers or for my sellers, we're having to have that conversation again of like, hey, it's taking longer. If you see a house on the market that's been on the market a month or two, that's okay. That's the amount of time. As you can see, month supply right now is at 1.9, which is honestly down because last month it was 2.1, but I have a feeling that next month it's going to go back up. So houses are sitting. It's taking longer. Buyers are being a little bit pickier, right? And yet inventory is still going up. And so that's where that challenge is, right? Okay. Moving from that, I always then want to show you houses as what you can get in different price points. And so The goal now is to kind of show you, last week we did Fishers. So this week we're going to do Noblesville. And so let's go to the Noblesville data so that I can show you that specifically. So we have a comparison of what a previous month looked like. So go to Noblesville. Okay. So Noblesville right now is 417. So it's actually up over last month's, up in closed sales, also 112 days on market. Again, that 23, we're seeing that, and that's actually up 43%. It was 16 before. So that's, again, why if you see houses sitting, or if you have your house listed, that's okay. You want to look at how many showings you've had and what the traction has been. So that's something that we go through with all of our sellers. Every week I am kind of going through that data so they exactly know where the market is moving, because sometimes it's not the price. I know everybody wants to say, well, it's price. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of instances when it is price. There's also a lot of times where it has nothing to do with price. It is literally the market is dry, right? And so you kind of have to work that. That's why a lot of people say it's a buyer's market, because the buyers are able to control. Sellers have been on the market a little bit longer, so you can ask them for more things. And honestly, with a lot of our buyers, we're telling them, okay, let's push the envelope a little bit more. Let's strategize and look at what it looks like for a specific house and see if we can get some extra things for our buyers, and telling our sellers like, hey, you're going to have buyers that are going to come to you and ask for a little bit more. So, and then the interestingly enough, Noblesville is actually, they've gone down 4 months supply. So their month supply has gotten faster versus longer. So that's really good. But their new listings are also down, right? 25.2%. So we're going to start off looking at a little ranch here in Noblesville. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot home built in 1995. It is in Morris Park, and I'll kind of explain one of the reasons I love Morris Park. But when we're talking about ranches, ultimately, if you can't get into a 55 and older community, sometimes people want to be in a ranch. I try to stress that even if you can't be in a community that can take care of, mowing your yard, doing the outside stuff, trimming the trees and bushes and laying mulch in the spring and all that, you can find somebody to pay for those that sometimes could be cheaper than living in a neighborhood that covers all of that. And so wanted to kind of show you an alternative option, because those ranches that are going to come, that are going to be built, that we talked about, the David Weekley ones, they're going to be pricier. They're going to be $400,000 to $500,000, whereas this is considerably cheaper. To downsize to this would be great. You've got a nice open kitchen. What I do like about that open kitchen, especially, when you're older, you don't have to go through doorways if you have a walker or a wheelchair, but has great space for the house. Then you've got a little outdoor space. Looks like there was a little garden there. And it's just a cute little property. And ultimately it's only $298,900. It's been on the market for 19 days. So this is one of those scenarios where what I would say is, if it's not perfect, then maybe wait, see if it could go down in price. If it is perfect, with it being, a 3-bedroom and 1,200 square feet, that is, a great space for an empty nester or even first-time home buyers. It's a great little property. I'm going to zoom out here because one of the reasons I absolutely love this community is it is right by Morris Park and Morris Reservoir. So the benefit there, and there's along Hague and stuff, there is, restaurants and shopping and stuff. And so this is really great that you can walk over to Morris Park. You can enjoy, an outdoor park, or they've got a, like a beach that you could hang out at if you have grandkids, or again, if you're first time home buyer and maybe you're starting a new family, it's just nice to be close to something that you could go and do. And so I love this location. I think it's such a great location. Next up on our list is 4946. I don't even know how to say Reeve. We're just going to go with that. 4-bedroom, full 2.5 bathrooms, 4,200 square feet, built in 2025. This is such a great property. I actually toured this, and I'm curious if so on our channel, we've been posting more new construction home tours, homes where you could either build it or you could buy it as a spec. We're trying to give more options to clients so that you have something to be able to consider. And that's what this is. This is a new construction Drees home. Love Drees. They build a beautiful product. I guess I could flip through the picture. Sorry. And it looks like they're still finishing up this, but look at that fireplace, a beautiful stone fireplace that goes all the way up the wall. They have really impressed me with the selections that they're putting in their spec homes. Spec homes are always questionable because sometimes some local builders will kind of like keep it pretty thin and not do very many upgrades. Whereas I feel like Drees is doing a really great job. Their standards are a little bit higher than some of the others. You might be spending a little bit more for that. But like, for instance, this one, you actually get a finished basement. So a lot of times in new construction, you'll go in and it'll be a unfinished basement. This is a walkout basement, which is really great. We don't have very many walkout basement styled communities just because we don't have very many hills and stuff. And so to be able to have a walkout basement is huge. We've had a couple clients who really like that from where they're moving from in areas where there's a lot more hills or mountains. There is that advantage. This has also been on the market for 75 days. So that's a great opportunity to potentially go in there and negotiate either buy down of a rate or even just getting the price down. So that's a huge advantage. We'll put a link. And then I work with Drees quite a bit. And so if you have questions or you want to explore what that looks like, we can negotiate those things for you and get you into something like this pretty nicely, so to speak, because there's room for negotiating. Okay, this I wanted to show you location. So this is 32. This is what opened up in downtown Westfield. 32 and 38. There's a lot of, again, shopping and like coffee shops and dining. 32 has quite a bit more than 38, but it is a quick jump over essentially to Forest Park and downtown Noblesville. This is probably a 8 to 10 minute drive, which isn't bad. And then if you like Noblesville, but let's say you want to be more on the Westfield side and or be able to jump up, let's say to Kokomo or Lafayette, this is a great location because you can go straight, see how that goes all the way to Lafayette, and this goes up to Kokomo. So if you are wanting to be in Indianapolis, but say you work in one of the outer cities, like Kokomo or Lafayette, you're, a 30-minute drive probably to each of those locations. So it's a great location, honestly. But yet you're still close to the hub of everything, right? Of being able to utilize those like free activities that we talk about a lot. So, okay. Last but not least, because we're coming down to the wire here, is the last house, 20170 Starlight Court. It is a 6-bedroom, 7 full, 2 half bath, 12,700-ish square feet home built in 2006. So something that we hear all the time is there high end in Noblesville? Noblesville doesn't have neighborhoods as much like Carmel or Westfield or Fishers that are kind of those estate neighborhoods where you have houses that are in that, $2, $3, $4 million range. So this currently is sitting at the most expensive home that is listed in Noblesville. And I wanted to show you that you can have a high-end home in the Noblesville area. So I thought this was really cute. A great waterfall, beautiful inside. That stairway is stunning. Windows, full windows all the way up to the top. That's going to bring in a ton of natural light. Hidden door. Don't know where the hidden door goes to, but potentially maybe that it goes into that office. I don't know if this is where, again, I'm going to say that if you're getting ready to list your house, ask your agent to make sure to put that they put descriptions on each picture. It's one of my biggest pet peeves because it would be nice to know, like, does that door go to this room? Little things like that. Beautiful open kitchen. What I also will say about this house is there is still room to be able to change some things and modify it, update it, and or give it to your own, I can't think of the word, own, like, personality, I guess. If you don't like kind of the traditional, right, style, because there's a lot that is traditional about this house. You could go in there and take down some of the trim or molding and change it up to be kind of your style. You could even with the floors, like if you don't like the tile floor, you can actually, I've got a great contractor that can actually have these same floors and it would flow all the way through. Love the arch doorways. So that's actually coming back, funny enough. So that's in style. Love that fireplace. Look at that. Love that ornate feel. Primary bedroom. So there's actually quite a bit that is modern in here, but then also there's quite a bit that is a traditional feel. This looks like this was probably redone versus other. I feel like I've looked at this house multiple times now. But wanted to give you an example of what you can get. Sorry if I'm going too fast through these pictures. I tend to, if you've watched previous videos, I'll go like this because it just gives me an idea. Ooh, nice sauna, a workout room. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that mural. So it just gives me an idea of what there is. There's a pool out back. Again, love those archways. Outdoor kitchen with a green egg. That's amazing. This great outdoor space, dog park space to let the dogs out, but yet they don't mess up or poop everywhere else. That's great. That's the kids area. So such a great little property. Let me show you location because I do, again, really love this location. So just like the last one, it's on 38 by Morris and is kind of out in the country. So if you want a bigger house, as you can see, actually, let me go back. Oh, let me go back real quick because I wanted to show. Let's see where it is. Acres. There it is. 2 acres. So you're out in the country. You have a $2 million house, but you're on land. So many times when you're in some of those properties that are 2 million, not that you don't have a decent lot because you have to, because it's a big house, but you don't have as much yard space. So this has tons of space. And that's where that aerial really, let's see if I can. So see how it is a neighborhood, but you have tons of room around you from a yard perspective, and you're not right on top of your neighbors, right? You have like 2 acres, which is huge. So if you're looking for a property, it's going to fit the right person, right? It's going to be somebody that wants to be a little bit further out, but wants kind of higher end, wants the pool, needs all of the rooms and the square footage. This is a great option. It has been listed again for that 158 days. Great opportunity again to go in and be able to say, okay, these are the things that I want, or negotiate to try to get that price down and or work with them on, what that looks like. So I hopefully you enjoyed it. That's kind of it for this week's HamCo Roundabout. Thanks for spending part of your week catching up with what's new around Hamilton County. Of course, if you liked this week's roundabout, so to speak, please hit the like button or subscribe so you get notified of future videos. trying to develop this into something bigger. So if you have questions, leave questions below. If you need a link, if you know, let's say you're interested in this house here, but you want to know more, let me know. We'll get you some information. And at the top of our YouTube channel, there's a QR code. If you ever want to set up a time to just kind of chat with me and kind of explore what it could look like, buying or selling, then click that link and you can schedule we'll jump on a Zoom call and talk. So anyways, as always, stay local, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.